Prasanavadanam bhojam Padmagarbha arunekshanam Nilotpala dalashyamam Shankha chakra gadadharam
Prasanavadanam bhojam Padmagarbharunekshanam Nilotpala dalashyamam Shankha chakra gadadharam Prasanavadanam bhojam Padmagarbharunekshanam Nilotpala dalashyamam Shankha chakra gadadharam
Prasanavadanam bhojam
Padmagarbharunekshanam Nilotpala dalashyamam Shankha chakra gadadharam Prasanna, cheerful, Vadana, countenance, Ambojam, lotus-like, Padmagarbha, the interior of the lotus, Aruna, ruddy, Ikshanam, with eyes, Nila Utpala, blue lotus, Dala, petals, Shyamam, Swarti, Shankha, Conch, Chakra, discus, Gada, club, Dharam, bearing.
Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a cheerful lotus-like countenance with ruddy eyes like the interior of a lotus and a swarthy body like the petals of a blue lotus. He bears a conch, discus, and mace in 3 of his hands. He's free. The Supreme Personality of Godhead
Supreme of Godhead
has a cheerful lotus-like countenance
has a cheerful lotus-like countenance
with ruddy eyes like the interior of a lotus.
with ruddy eyes like the interior of a lotus,
And a swarthy body like the petals of a blue lotus.
and a swarthy body like the petals of a lotus.
He bears a conch, discus, and mace in 3 of his hands.
He bears a conch, discus, and mace in 3 of his hands.
But it is definitely recommended herein that one concentrate his mind upon the form of Vishnu. There are 12 different forms of Vishnu which are described in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. One cannot concentrate his mind on anything void or impersonal. The mind should be fixed on the personal form of the Lord, whose attitude is cheerful, as described in this verse. In Bhagavad states that meditation on the impersonal or void features is very troublesome to the meditator. Those who undergo a difficult process, those who are attached to the impersonal and void features of meditation have to undergo a difficult process because we are not accustomed to concentrate our minds upon anything impersonal. Actually, such concentration is not even possible. Bhagavad also confirms that one should concentrate his mind on the personality of God. The color of the personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described here as Nilotpaladala, meaning that it is like that of a lotus flower with petals tinted blue and white. People always ask why Krishna is blue. The color of the Lord has not been imagined by an artist. It is described in authoritative scripture. In the Brahma Samhita also, the color of Krishna's body is compared to that of a bluish cloud. The color of the Lord is not poetical imagination. There are authoritative descriptions in the Brahma Samhita, Srimad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and many of the Puranas of the Lord's body. His weapons, and all of the paraphernalia. The Lord's appearance is described here as Padma Garbhana. His eyes resemble the inside of a lotus flower, and in his 4 hands he holds the 4 symbols, conchal, discus, mace, and lotus. First again. Prasanna vadanam bhojam padmagarbhanurekshanam nilotpala dalasyamam sankha sakra kadadaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a cheerful, lotus-like countenance with ruddy eyes like the interior of a lotus and a swarthy body like the petals of a blue lotus. He bears a conch, discus, and mace in 3 of his hands. Om Ajnanati Mandasya Jananjana Shanaka Sakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shigove Namah Chitayamanovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutaleshvam Rapakadamyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Padakamalam Shiyom Vaishnavamsha Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Tam Sajivam Satvahit Satvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Shahe Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandha Chatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gauri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanya Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriye Vancha Kalptrubhisha Kripa Sindhavesha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravanya Pracharini. Nirvishesha Sinyavadi Paskachai Desatane. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So in these chapters, at the end of the third canto, we have the teachings of Lord Kapiladev, the mother Devahuti, and in this chapter, the meditation of the yogis is described. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, Chitatmana prasantasna paramatma samayita. So when one has conquered the mind, that then one becomes peaceful, and then one finds Paramatma, Krishna in the heart. So this hints very clearly that's the purpose, what the purpose is of the Ashtanga Yoga system, is finally to meditate on the personal form of the Lord within the heart. Of course, we are speaking here about a process of meditation, but I always remember that lecture of Srila Prabhupada he gave in Geneva. I think I have it here. He speaks about meditation, that wherever you go, Prabhupada says, wherever you speak, wherever you sit, so keep the spiritual strength intact, he says. Tirtha Bhuta, Tirtha Kovanti, Tirtha Nisvanta Katena, Svanta Stena Kanabrita. So he's giving a lecture of this verse 113.10 of the Bhāgavatam, where Vidura comes back to the palace after the Battle of Kurukshetra many years later. He has gone 30 years on pilgrimage and comes back, and Yudhishthira Maharaj speaks these words to him and say, you are like a tirtha, a place of pilgrimage, personified. Wherever you go, you turn that place into a place of pilgrimage because you are carrying the Supreme Lord in your heart. So you are meditating on the Supreme Lord in your heart. So the Hare Krishna mantra means, the Hare Krishna mantra chanting means keeping Krishna always within your heart. That is quite a very instructive sentence spoken by Srila Prabhupada. If we chant Krishna, we should feel Krishna in our heart. That's the purpose of devotional service, to feel always the presence of Krishna and to live in relationship with Krishna. Because in this chapter, on the next chapter, so in this section, Lord Kapiladev speaks also about the process of deity worship, and says the pujari sees the deity on the altar, and he should transfer the deity to his heart and feel the same deity in his heart while he's doing the puja. That's the purpose, deity worship, to transfer the deity to our heart, to feel him always and see him in the heart of others. So the Hare Krishna chanting means keeping Krishna always within your heart. Prabhupada said this is not expensive at all. You haven't got to make a very exalted throne for Krishna. You can imagine that in my heart I've placed now a very diamond throne and Krishna is sitting. That is accepted. So you keep a very nice diamond throne ready in your heart to receive Krishna. It's interesting. And Prabhupada said that is accepted. Actually, it becomes, even within the mind, you think that I've kept a diamond throne, very costly throne, because Krishna is coming. He will sit down here. That is not false, that is a fact. So you create such situation within your heart. Now Krishna is seated. Then let me wash his feet with the Ganges water, with Yamuna water. Now I change his dress to first class costly garments. Then I decorate with ornaments. Then I give him for eating. You can simply think of this. This is meditation. Svantastenam Kadavrita. It is so nice thing. Anywhere you can sit down and think that Krishna is sitting in your heart and receiving in so nice way. They are not false, they are also fact. It is so easy, Prabhupada said. It is so easy, but is it so easy to meditate? That Srila Prabhupada explains in 2-12 Srimad Bhāgavatam, is the meditation on the universal form. And there Krishna's form is described. That very beautiful form also described of Krishna in the heart, the Lord in the heart. Krishna in the heart is described there. And this for the purpose of meditation. But do we have the ability to meditate? That's the first question. We know meditation was there in Satya Yuga. That was a process. But we cannot do it. That Prabhupada writes, to the extent one is free from the desire for sense gratification, especially sex desire, one gains the ability to meditate. That's connected. We can meditate on the different transcendental limbs of the Lord in proportion of the purification of our heart. So if our heart is not pure, we will meditate on the impurities, not on Krishna. Prabhupada writes there, those who are still contaminated by sex desire should not progress above the meditation of the lotus feet of the Lord. So, if you are still contaminated in heart, you can meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, but not higher. So, the Prabhupada explains in this purport that the study of the Bhāgavatam, the first and the sixth cantos, are compared to the lotus feet of the Lord. And so, as long as our heart is impure, our study of the Bhāgavatam should be restricted to the study of the first and second canto of the Srimad Bhāgavatam. Interesting. So this meditation is a form of purification, centered on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's all about trying to see Krishna in your heart. And when one becomes purified, then one can see Krishna in the heart as he is, Prabhupada says. So, but why do we meditate? Why do most yogis meditate? Mostly they don't meditate in a devotional way. No. They meditate to become liberated or to merge with Brahman. So it means, and Prabhupada explains further, one cannot begin appreciating the form of the Lord unless one is free from sex desire. Pumsastviamituna bhavam etam teormiturideyakanti mahu aturhyas etc. sutapta viter yanasya moyam am mameti. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to this body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. This is from the teachings of Lord Rishabhadev. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. So that's the basic principle of material attraction. And as long as one is enamored by this attraction, one cannot understand Krishna. The understanding will be superficial. Of course, meditation, it's not so easy, but we can try it sometimes. Because especially in the second canto also this transcendental form of the Lord is described within the heart, the Lord in the heart. Krishna's black curling locks are described, his enchanting smile and his eyebrows. But it's not easy to remain fixed on it because so many thoughts are coming into the mind. So, therefore, the chanting of the holy name is the process in this age, and it's a better process of meditation. But if we chant the holy names, it means there must also be fixity of thought. In the morning we have these 10 offenses, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. So this inattentive. But what does it mean, attentive chanting? What is attentive chanting? Attentive chanting means become absorbed in the name of the Lord, in the transcendental sound, just becoming absorbed in it. It does not mean trying to see Krishna in your mind. It's the fixity, or the fixedness of mind that means becoming absorbed in the sound of the holy name. So, fixity of thought, that's where this Ashtanga yoga system starts with. Because meditation means dhyan. Before meditation comes dharan, that which means having a concept to meditate on, dharan. And that concept is explained here, the concept of meditation for the yogis of Krishna in the heart. And the form is beautifully described. But before we can come to this, to getting this concept in our mind, before becomes pratyahara, you have to shut out yourself of all sensual disturbance. Many years I was in Radhadesh in Belgium, and every morning we had Mangalarti with Radha Gopinath. Every morning. so many years. And what's the result? Now I can think of Radha Gopinath in my mind, because it's fixed in my mind, because every morning Mangal Arti, so that is one of our practices. Come every morning to the Mangal Arti and become absorbed in the deities, and they will enter your heart. That if you really desire, you will find them in your heart. But you have, before Dhyan, Dharan, that's the concept. Get the concept in your mind, a form here, which is described. But before that is Pratyahara, shutting out the source of all sensual disturbances. But also in the Ashtanga yoga system, there are first yam, niyam, things to do and things not to do. And we know them also in our process of Bhakti Yoga. We are following the regulative principles, not to do, and we have to chant Hare Krishna, hear the Bhāgavatam, and of course do service. But then after Yam and Niyam there is Asham. Yeah, it was mentioned a few days ago, this tape of Prabhupada, where Prabhupada says, it chants japa and then suddenly says, sit properly. So that's helpful. If you sit properly, then you stay awake. That's good. Learn to sit properly. Because also in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, Hari Bhakti Vilas has been written by, yes, I think Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami. They were working on Hari Bhakti Vilas. And there is a section that's a statement how to sit properly. But of course, it's not the essence. The essence is to chant better. That's the essence. So we should not be over-occupied with it. Because Hari Bhakti Vilas said you should sit down in a proper asana. That means we should not walk when we chant japa. But Prabhupada did it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj did it also, so it's not the essence, but it helps. No need to be over-occupied with it, but yeah, also devotees have asked Prabhupada that, yes, should we practice this yoga? And that Prabhupada said, yeah, yoga may be done, but it's very difficult. So, of course, there are all these asanas, Padmasana, that's the most basic one. It's not easy. Maybe I can do it for 1 second, but it's so difficult. The Padmasana, and then you have of course you have Singhasan and the Kukuti Asana, that's the chicken asana. So many kinds of asanas that if all those who have done a little yoga, they know many. I know only the dog pose and the cat pose, but but yes. And then after that, Pratyahara. You have to withdraw the senses by doing breathing exercises. this takes a long time. It's a very gradual process. Can take many years to become good in it. And then after that, one has to become unaware of everything around one. Go inside that. And then one can begin with this dharan, this concept that is described here. The dharan, yeah. That's called meditation. One comes start to meditate on the Lord, and when that becomes deeper, that becomes dhyan, and when one becomes completely absorbed, it becomes samadhi. So, what does meditation factually mean? Active meditation means that we practice thinking of Krishna. That absorption in the whole name is also thinking of Krishna. But that's true in all activities that we do. I think Krishna says to Arjuna, "Tasma sarvesha bhuteshu." Yeah, always think of me in all activities. Tasma. Yeah. Anyway, sometimes we speak about japa meditation, right? Meditation, japa meditation. So japa is also meditation on the Lord. Japa. It's a form. We meditate on the Lord in the form of His holy name, in His holy in sound vibration. But we find it often very difficult, as those who try to fix their mind on the Lord can become easily deviated. So many thoughts come into the mind while chanting, and sometimes devotees become discouraged. So the quality of chanting is not there. So quality is better to chant good 16 rounds than chanting more. That is a dangerous proposition. One can say, yes, it's better to chant 1 round good than 16 rounds, but well, it's better to chant just 1 mantra good than. But Prabhupada said, no. First quantity and later quality, then quality. So by practice, the quality will gradually improve. We should have faith that Krishna should help us. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing, "When will my offenses cease, and will the holy name become manifest in my heart?" So yes, as long as the anarthas in our heart, Krishna will not manifest. So we chant the holy name, but we have faith one day Krishna will manifest. It's if you chant with these offenses, it's like you stand before a closed door. You can't go through it to contact Krishna. Of course, when we chant the holy name, it is Krishna. And all his potencies are in his holy name. But these potencies will not be manifested to us as long as we have anarthas, clouds of anarthas. It's also mentioned in Harinam Chintamani that there it is mentioned, Harinam Chintamani, that Namabhas is the stage in the chanting where the anarthas starts to diminish. Namabhas starts when we start to give up these 10 offenses we chant in the morning. Therefore they are so important. If we start to give up these 10 offenses, then Krishna begins with gradually manifesting himself. And a first shadow effect comes. It's like when we have full anarthas, then it's like darkness surrounding the soul. And you cannot come in contact with Krishna. But when we start to give up these offenses, then it becomes like daylight, but you cannot see the sun. Clouds everywhere. But still, if there are clouds, you can see, it's daylight, you can see things clearly. And that's what happened. That is this Namabhas becoming the daylight. And then, when all these anarthas, after many years of chanting, are gone, then the clouds are gone. And then you have direct contact with Krishna. What are these anarthas? Anarthas, and we have heard in the yogi in the beginning, Udaretatmanatmanam atmanam avasadyat atmevayatmana bandur atmevaripur atmana. Bandur atmatmas tasyayanatma atmanachatha anatmanatu satratve vartita tatra satravat. Something like that. So, with the mind, you can upgrade yourself, uplift yourself. Of the mind can degrade yourself. The mind can be your friend. The mind can be your enemy. And the mind is your friend when it's controlled. And the mind is your enemy when it's uncontrolled. And what makes the mind your enemy? It's these anarthas. And especially the 6 enemies of the mind. Krishna mentions 3 main in Bhagavad Gita. Gates to hell, he says. Kama, Lobha, and Krodha. That lust, anger, greed. There is also madness, illusion, envy. These are the enemies of the mind. So, if we have these enemies in the mind, it's like darkness. And there is very little purification when we chant. But when we come to Namabhas is called the clearing stage of chanting. There are 3 stages in chanting. The offensive stage, the clearing stage, and the pure chanting. Clearing stage is Namabhas. And Namabhas, Haridas Thakur said there are 2 kinds. The Stoba, Hela. That means you meditate or you address to an object which is different from what the name says. Like Ajamil was addressing, he was calling out the name of Narayan. He was addressing his son. But still, it was Namabhas, because it is the lower stage of Namabhas. But it was potent, so potent that it eradicated all these sinful reactions. But it was not offensive. It did not make one of the 10 offenses. But he was just addressing something else. But it was still the holy name. That's one kind of namabhas, but it's a lower namabhas. But usually namabhas means I give up these offenses to the chanting of the holy name. And that we should chant japa clear and loudly. Loudly enough so that we can hear it very nicely. Prabhupada said we should chant as loud so that it can be heard by a person next to us. So the mind should be fixed on the holy name. So we chant with the faith that the name will manifest to us. We are waiting for the name to manifest. If name will manifest when we come to this namabhas, is the beginning of the manifestation. But the full manifestation is when the heart is pure. I think from Siddhas Babaji Maharaj, he was always chanting the whole day, and in the night he was also chanting. The devotees were wondering when he was sleeping, but sometimes Krishna did not manifest, and he became frustrated. He was sitting 3 days in the Yamuna. But then sometimes at night suddenly he started to laugh in ecstasy. So Krishna came. But that is a very advanced stage. But of course, Srila Prabhupada recommended us to chant. So when in the beginning in New York, he asked devotees to chant 64 rounds. But the devotees said, Prabhupada, we cannot do it. It's too much. And Prabhupada said, okay, 32 rounds. And the devotees said, no, it's still too much. And then he said 16, but not lower. And you should do service. That's important. Not just chanting. And do service. Because that's important. The result of the chanting should be service. that we serve. So it's going together. It's that chanting of the holy name means adopting the lifestyle of the devotees, a lifestyle in goodness. And a lifestyle in goodness helps to concentrate the mind. Therefore, this is important to adopt a lifestyle in goodness. Lifestyle in goodness means we get up in the morning before 4 o'clock. I remember Bhakti Maharaj instructed all his disciples that they should get up before 4 o'clock. Everyone puts his alarm clock on 3:55. But anyway, we should get up early and have Mangalarti, and we fix our mind on the deity, and then we chant and try to feel the same deity in your heart. That's the message. And that's helpful. That will improve your chanting. Krishna is in your heart. That's Bhakti Srimad. Someone asked Bhakti Srimad, what does it mean chanting Hare Krishna? And he's simple. He gave the simplest answer I ever heard. He said, chanting Hare Krishna means saying to Krishna, I love you. So Krishna is in our heart. So this devotion, this addition of love in our chanting, makes the chanting very powerful. That will help us to find Krishna in our heart. Because I remember 2 years ago, Kadamba Maharaj spoke to the sannyas candidates. And because I'm a member of the sannyas ministry, I was organizing sannyas school and so on. And he spoke about sannyas life. Sannyas means living constantly in a relationship with Krishna. That was his message. Living constantly in a relationship with Krishna in the heart. So what's important here is we see the descriptions here of this yoga system, and we can say what has this age, this yoga, we cannot do it. It's not for this age. Arjuna could not do it. So it's not for us. Yes and no. Yes, our system is different. It is chanting of the holy name. But the principles behind are quite similar. Just the chanting of a holy name is a more powerful yoga system, especially for this age. And but the principles are the same. That become aware of Krishna in your heart and live in a relationship with him. Living in a relationship with Krishna, what does it mean? Whatever you do, first think, will that please Krishna? He's in my heart. He knows us very much. That he's always been with us since time immemorial. So that living in a relationship with Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. This yoga system is described here. And we understand that the purpose of the bona fide yogi is to live with Krishna in the heart. A relationship of love, constant relationship of love with Krishna in the heart. Yes. Anyway, that's what I could say on this verse. Any question or comments? Yes. Well, Srila Prabhupada gave different definitions of initiation. So of course, the process is that we accept initiation, and that acceptance of initiation makes the chanting more powerful. But it's not that it is without power if we don't receive initiation. Initiation, Prabhupada says, means accepting the process of devotional service with and accepted chanting, have faith that this chanting will bring us to perfection and follow the process of devotional service. But following the process of devotional service means that we should aspire for initiation and receive initiation. So that's part of the process. And that's, yes. But it's not that you receive initiation and then the day after you chant, it's different. No, it's a gradual process. Initiation, acceptance of Krishna is usually a gradual process. Because as long as we have anarthas in the heart, we don't accept Krishna wholeheartedly. Because material desires means prayers. Prayers to the super soul to fulfill your material desires. That's what it practically is. And it takes us away from Krishna. So it's a gradual process. But taking initiation is part of the process. If you don't follow that, then you will not get the full power. So we must follow. Because some devotee asked Prabhupada, if we, so why are we preaching? Someone said to Prabhupada, because people may read your books, but nobody practically takes initiation. So what's the result of our preaching? So they cannot advance when they don't take initiation. And Prabhupada said, no. If they read my books with attention and they accept the process from the books and start to chant Hare Krishna, that's their initiation. That's interesting. So there are different definitions of liberation even given by Prabhupada here. But generally we should follow the process, and that makes the holy name more potent. Because where does the holy name come from? Holy name, Premara Golokera Dhanam, comes from Golok. There we read in the Bhāgavatam that Krishna disappears from the rasa dance, the gopis start to chant Krishna's names and force Krishna to come back by the chanting of the holy name. So that's what they do in Golok, chanting Krishna's names, crying his glories, his pastimes constantly. And who has brought this to this world? It was the master of Golok, Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, came himself to bring us. And why did he bring it? To bring us back to Golok. That's why the chanting of the holy name is there. But we receive this mercy through the disciplic succession. And that makes it bona fide and powerful. But of course, those who read Prabhupada's books, they are connected with the Guru Parampara by reading. But usually those who read Prabhupada's books and become serious, they will follow the instructions in the book. Thus taking initiation. That's a normal, usual process. And that makes it more potent. So that's what I've understood. Something else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So, like you were saying, chanting Hare Krishna means telling Krishna I love you, and you also saying how sannyas means to be always in a relationship with Krishna. So sometimes we find that we want to develop relationship with Krishna, but as in any relationship, we also wish to see some reciprocation. And in our neophyte stage, to see that reciprocation is little difficult. And anartha nivritti also takes some time to purify the heart to receive or perceive Paramatma. So then what are the signs we can observe to understand that Krishna is reciprocating with us?
Yeah. Of course, the first thing you said in the beginning is that we want to develop a relationship with Krishna. Prabhupada says the relationship our relationship with Krishna is there. It cannot be broken. It's now dormant. We have to revive it. So it's about reviving this relationship. Now, we may thinking it's broken, but Krishna is in our heart. He's still taking care of us, of our body, of our soul, everything. That he's still doing this. And yes, ye yatamam prabhachante tam stadev bhajamam. Krishna says, I'm reciprocating with everyone according to their surrender. So their level of surrender. So if you start to surrender to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates. But sometimes we think, we don't see Krishna's reciprocation. We think it's something else. We have our own imagination how Krishna should with us reciprocate. And that's the problem. Krishna says in 9:22, Ananya Sintyantam Yechna Paripasthite Samnitya Vyoktyam Yogsen Famyam. I carry what they lack and I give them what they need. What they need, not what we want. And what we need is purification, especially in the beginning. And Krishna will purify us. And sometimes it's painful. And we have to understand that's Krishna's reciprocation. I remember, this is 20 years ago, I was in big difficulty at that moment. And I wrote Bhakti Maharaj an email explaining what happened. I wrote this email and 5 minutes later I had him on the phone. One of his main instructions was that everything what happens in your life as a devotee, good or bad, is Krishna's mercy. So it starts with understanding what is Krishna's mercy. In verse Srimad Bhāgavatam 10:88:8, that Krishna explains what happens when he gives his mercy. Krishna says then, I give his mercy to my devotee to take away everything what he is attached to. And then he suffers like anything. That's my mercy. Because you suffer to never suffer again. It's a great gift. Then you become free. That the false ego becomes very thin. And you become more happy. You are not disturbed anymore in this. You are not disturbed anymore in this all disturbing world. So that is one thing to learn. What is Krishna's reciprocation? That I could give practical examples of this, but I better don't do this. Because I don't want to speak about myself. But anyway, I hope this helps to meditate on it. Good. Thank you very much. Shantara Srimad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.